This is the Azimut Magellano 25 Metri, and it is the current flagship of the Magellano range. Its raised pilot house profile was penned by superyacht designer Ken Freevock with the dual-mode hull from Studio Piana, which aims to deliver a comfortable, efficient ride at both slow and fast cruise. With an 8,000 litre fuel capacity and a suite of stabilisation technology on board, the 25 Metri is designed for passage making in style, and the interior will, if you're wearing them, knock your socks clean off. More of that later though. First, we'll see what it's like from behind the helm. There are two driving positions on the Magellano 25 Metri. There's the Flybridge and then there's this pilot house, and this is where the hard yards will be done. This boat's got an enormous cruising range. It has 8,000 litre fuel tanks. If you drop down to 10 knots like we're doing now, the range is around 1,300 miles. So you can cover some serious ground on this yacht, and this is probably where you're going to do it. You're going to knuckle down, slow down, and just make the hard yards. And it's a really nice place to drive the boat from because you're quite a long way forward. You've got an excellent view out over the bow. Obviously all of the navigation, the MFDs, the screens, it's completely adjustable. You have three in front of you, so you can have whatever information you want right in front of your eyes, and it's completely clearly presented. But what I do like is, even though most people are going to stick this boat on autopilot and just go in long straight lines, you're nice and close to the helm. You can stand and you can lean. Throttles fall easily to hand. The wheel is nice and close to you. You don't feel detached from the experience of driving the boat, apart from how quiet it is, and it is church quiet driving from here. We've got 2,800 horsepower in the engine room, but you'd have absolutely no idea from in here. And even if you up the speed, the boat stays very, very quiet, and that is something that Azimut has worked really hard on to make this a very comfortable, quiet and refined cruising boat. And the beauty of this dual mode hull is, yes, at displacement speed it feels very comfortable, and you have the assistance of Humphrey stabilisers and also the interceptors out on the transom, but you can up the speed. Top speed is 24 knots with these 1400s. You can have twin 1550s if you prefer, where you'll gain a couple of knots at the top end, but you can cruise at 20 knots very, very comfortably if you want to get a bit more of a move on. Handling, well, it's not really what the boat is about. The steering is lovely and light, you know, it's fly-by-wire. You can genuinely turn this 80-footer with one finger, but because you've got all those electronics stopping the boat from leaning over, it just turns. It doesn't lean, there's no fuss, it just turns around really quite sharply actually. There's no heel to speak of, but it doesn't take an age to turn around. It's got quite a nice tight turning circle, but as I've already alluded to, this boat is going to spend its life going in straight lines, mainly on autopilot. But it's nice to know that if you are having to dodge an obstacle, you haven't got to heave the wheel over too hard, and it does react quite tidily from here at the helm. Now everything here in the pilot house is Ray Marine, including the screen down here. At the upper helm you actually have bonding software which shows the engine information, but this is totally configurable. I quite like this setup where you've got the engine information bang in front of you, chart to the left, radar to the right, but everything is changeable and you can have it presenting whatever you wish. Obviously these are hybrid touch, they're touch screens, but you have got proper hard buttons down here so that you can zoom with the rotary dial, and you can use those if you don't want to use the touch screen for whatever reason. And it's always good to see the fact that you've got things like windscreen wiper and horn as proper buttons, so you're not having to swish through menus to use things that you need to use quickly. That's what it's like to drive then. Now let's have a closer look on board. It seems so simple, just turning the seating this way round rather than having the benches running this way across the cockpit, but the effect is great because it means there aren't two people having to face into the boat. Sat here, everybody has a view out over the water. It works really nicely, and because the stanchions are sort of set underneath the seating, it looks like it's kind of floating. Really cool effect. And there's some other nice touches when you're out on the water as well, because the entire transom folds down, leaving a sort of infinity terrace. You see there's clear section here, so you have an unbroken view over the water from the seating. That also becomes your beach club, as Azimut would call it. It's also how you launch the tender, which is stowed under here beneath my feet. Other nice touches, October in Italy, nice, huh? Other nice touches include the lovely run of stairs here, really, really smart nice shallow staircase that takes you up to the top deck, and also you've got something to hold on to here because you've got this banister. It helps you around this deck. Also key to note, you've got a bit more storage under here. You've got a sink under here as well, so that you can wash your hands if you've been handling the ground lines, for example. You've also got a set of throttles and controls for the stern and bow thrusters from here too, so if you're stern to mooring like we are now, you've got a better view. Really good side decks on this boat. You can see how nice and tall these bulwarks are, teak capped as well, so it's a very easy boat to move around on. And this is a really nice foredeck area here. Equally nice if the boat's moving along at displacement speed and you can sit relaxed on these seating areas, or even if you're in a marina like we are now and you're berth stern too, you want a bit of privacy away from prying eyes on the quayside, you can come and sit up here and get away from the quay. And there's nice touches here as well, like you've got pop-up lights, 4 of them across here, you've got cup holders up here, and it's practical too. Storage on both sides for covers. There's more storage behind me here that runs under the windscreen, again perfect for canopies and ropes, things like that. And you've got excellent access to the twin windlasses and really impressive sturdy ground tackle as well. This fabulous bar area and this central mast that supports the huge hardtop, a real focal point on this deck. And this hardtop, it's a big unit, but it is one of the parts of this boat that's made from carbon fibre to try and reduce the weight right at the top of the boat where you don't want it. But it's really striking, this bar area. I love this brushed marble effect. This is used all over the boat, but it works really nicely here with a couple of bar stools opposite. It means that you can line up drinks for your guests and then serve it to the people who are using the furniture aft here. That is actually fixed. It looks like it's freestanding, but it's not. It's fixed in place, and it's sort of low slung beach club vibe. Works really nicely. And this area's got all the things you'd expect. You've got a grill under here, fridge, ice maker, big sink, etc. So everything you need to serve your guests on a nice sunny day. The hardtop uses this sort of slat system I've seen before on San Lorenzo's. Fairline also use it on their Squadron 68. Personally, I'd prefer a canvas roof because it just gives you a much bigger aperture. These open up, you don't get such exposure to the elements, and it leaves a sort of funny shadow coming down onto this area here. It looks cool, but functionality not quite as good as a canvas roof. However, I can't complain about this seating area. Really, really good size. This table dominates. It's an interesting shape, and again, you've got the marble, brushed marble detailing in the middle. And I also like the shape of these seats. Nice high backrests. The legs aren't too long, so they should be comfortable to sit out for long, lazy lunches. And of course, on this deck as well is where you have the second helm station. Raised up here, really lovely view forward over the foredeck, and it's a really nice helm as well. You've got twin multi-adjustable seats. They also bolster. Again, the ergonomics are really good. The wheel's nice and close to the helmsman, as is the throttle. You have a similar screen setup, just the 2 up here, but you do have the bonding screens as well, which display engine information. And the nice thing about a raised pilot house layout is that as well as the steps between the top and main deck in the cockpit, you also have internal access. So you first come down this run, you're here at the raised pilot house, and a nice touch in here is they have a bench that slides across electronically so that people can sort of cozy up next to the skipper and keep them company on passage. You just want to drop, you don't fall down the staircase. But then you've got this lovely staircase that winds down onto the main deck. You also access, of course, from the cockpit. If you think the Ken Freevock exterior is quite radical for the Magellano range, just wait until you see this interior. It's by Vincenzo De Cottis. It's his first interior for a boat, and well, he's been brave. I mean, this will certainly split opinion. I think some people will love it for how brave and stylish it is, and some will just find it a bit too much. But there's a lot going on in here, from the style and the shape of the furniture to the materials used to the lighting. It's all just so interesting. It's working really, really hard, and you can't say that it's a wallflower, that's for sure. The space is pretty amazing because the galley is all the way forward, tucked away behind mirrored doors. This is all just sort of seating and dining space. The focal point, like on the Flybridge, really is this amazing dining table. Again, it's got the brushed marble, and you can actually swing this table so it faces the other way, so you can get 2 more people sitting on either end. Now, one of the things that De Cottis is really big on is fiberglass. He loves working with fiberglass. So things like these coffee tables, this is all fiberglass. There's fiberglass tops running around. The TV is inset inside a fiberglass top. You have fiberglass paneling up and down the sides. It's really, really interesting use of material. And there's things like the way that the storage just pops out of nowhere. There are no catches, you can't see where it is. It's like hidden doors. They just pop open and you find storage. But there are practical elements as well, like the fact the sofas pop up and there's very easily accessed storage underneath them as well. So it's not all a story of form over function. Now, forward here, the deck splits off, so if you go to port you head forward to the galley and the crew quarters, and that can be sectioned off so it's very private. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Down to starboard, down this winding case, is where you get to the guest accommodation. Now there are 3 guest cabins and a master cabin aboard this boat, and we're going to start here in the forward double guest cabin. Now because the crew quarters wraps around the bow, you have this slightly strange shape, but it's nice because they've angled the bed. You've got a good double bed in here. This cabin also has its ensuite. In fact, every cabin has an ensuite on this boat. If we work our way aft, you've got this central lobby area. Again, amazing detailing, lovely lighting, and the use of brass and gold inserts looks really, really smart. You've got another double cabin, really good size, with the bed running across the boat. Again, it's ensuite. You have a twin with its own ensuite as well, and then we come back here and we're in the master cabin. Now it feels like here in the master cabin is where Decotus has been let loose. He's really gone for it down here. It feels like I've stepped back into the cabin of a cruise liner from a bygone era. Use of mirrors, extensive use of mirrors. Even the TV is a mirror. They have at least stopped short of putting one on the ceiling, but the space is really, really impressive. And again, you have that lovely use of the brushed marble. It pops up all the way down here as well. It's a theme that runs through the boat. An open plan bathroom with twin sinks. Of course, the shower and toilet are separated off from a door. Headroom, very good, and it's a completely flat floor as well, so it's very easy to move around. And the practical stuff is still there as well. You have sockets next to the bed, you have repeater light switches so you can control the lights from bed. Again, the storage seems to pop out from nowhere from these bulkheads. You just pop them open and you have hanging storage, and you've got big wardrobes in here as well, one right by the door and one just next to the bathroom. So if we come to port on the main deck, we come past the stairway up to the pilot house. You actually have a day heads here, quite convenient. If guests are using the boat in the day, it means they don't have to go all the way down to their cabin to use the loo. They can use this one there. And then as you move forward, it's pretty clear that Azimut thinks this will be a crew-run boat because the galley can be completely shut off from the rest of the boat. There's this door here. You also have a sliding door in this area, so crew can come in and out, move down the side of the boat and around the decks without going through the saloon and disturbing guests. And it's a really good sized galley, spacious, good headroom, lots of storage and domestic appliances as you might expect. And then down this stairwell forward is where you find the crew quarters. And the crew do pretty well aboard the 25 Metri. There are 2 cabins down here, one a double, presumably for the skipper, and then a twin, which has got a pair of bunks in it. They've got some storage down here. It's also where the washing machine and dryer are, and there's a bathroom as well with a separate shower cubicle. There are 2 ways to access the engine room, either through a deck hatch in the cockpit for quick inspections, or it's easier to lift up these steps and then you can walk through the transom and down into the machinery space. So here we are inside, and as you can see, engine room pretty good. Of course, you've got this intrusion. This is the tender garage moulding. You can see it's all slathered in soundproofing, because they've really made an effort to make this boat as quiet as possible when it's moving along. It's a long distance cruising boat, so they want it to be refined, but access to the engines is very good. These are the smaller engines, the 1400s. You can have twin 1550s if you prefer. Access to all the ancillaries are really good as well. You've got generators on both sides. Got really great access to the fuel filters here behind me. They've got clear bowls as well, so you can check the quality of the fuel visually. And in the far corner you can see the drums where the shore power cables reel in automatically. Thank you very much for watching our review of the Azimut Magellano 25 Metri. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you never miss one of our new videos.